Good evening and welcome everyone to a special program sponsored by Silas Brunson Library. And it is called Celebrating Local Authors, Black History Month. Okay, so we're actually doing this for Black History Month. So we have some local authors here who are going to tell us about their books, tell us why they enjoy helping us, and some of them are going to give us a little treat with their stories. Okay, so we are going to meet some local authors who have lifelong passions for literacy and for literature. Some of them are actually, or I should say, one of them is actually at the very young age of 12. Can you believe that? A 12-year-old author. Magnificent. So without further ado, we're going to get right into our program. And I'm very honored to introduce to you Miss London Carter Williams. She is only age 12. I think she wrote the book at age 11. So without further ado, she's going to read her books, and then I'm going to give her a quiz. I'm going to have some questions for her, and hopefully with those questions, that will motivate you to also do something grand. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you Miss London Carter Williams. Give her a round of applause. Okay.
Hi, I'm London. Like he said, I am 12 years old. I wrote the book when I was 11, and I'm a seventh grader at Brass City Charter School. Our first protest. One Sunday morning, Mom woke up me and my little sister, Brooklyn. My name's London, by the way. She said, "Girls, we are going to attend a protest." "A protest?" Brooklyn cried. "What's a protest, Mommy?" Mom explained, "A protest is when a lot of people come together to show others that they strongly dislike or are against the topic or event. For example, some people protest about racism or war. Today, we are protesting about racism." I learned about that in school, that people have different skin colors, and sometimes people don't like those who are different from them, and that's wrong. Like what Claudette Colvin went through when she was fighting for our civil rights. On March 2nd, 1955, she was arrested at the age of 15 in Montgomery, Alabama, for refusing to give up her seat on a crowded, segregated bus, I said. "That's right, London. It's very wrong, and we are still fighting for our rights," said Mom. "Mommy, can we make signs?" I asked. "Sure. What will they say?" "How about Black Lives Matter, or the one that I've been hearing on TV lately, I Can't Breathe?" "Those will be great," Mom said. Then we took our face masks and left the house for the protest. At the protest, there were hundreds of people of all races marching together. Everyone was united. Well, most of the time. Some people were really angry. It was a little scary, and I even cried. The crowds of protesters were being led through our city by police officers, and they were riding on horses. Everyone shouted, "No justice, no peace." Me and Brooklyn marched with the crowd, held up our signs, and we too shouted, "No justice, no peace." It felt great to know that we were a part of making history. We were a part of changing the world. We attended our first protest.
Wow, please, a round of applause. Wow. Wonderful, wonderful. It is such a great book. Wonderful. There are actual photos of Brooklyn and London, so they're named after places. Isn't that neat? So, Miss London, we do have some questions here for you. First question is, how did you come up with the idea for your book?
Well, I came up with the idea for the book after the protest when my mom said that I should write about my experience.
Very good, very good. And I'm just curious, what were those protest signs made of? They seem to be actual wood. Was that the case?
No, they were made of poster board.
Okay, very good. Do you still feel like you are a part of history, and why?
Somewhat. Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you believe your book can influence someone else to try to make a change?
I do believe my book can influence other people to make a change.
And how has your life changed since you have become the author? Very good.
Well, it has changed because I was always really well known by my family, but now I'm well known by even strangers.
It's just very good, very good. It is such a wonderful book and such a timely book. And you're actually now a part of history, which is great, which is great. Can you share with can you tell us a little bit how you felt when you're actually at the protest?
When I was at the protest, I felt scared in the end, but for the most part, I was happy and glad that I was being able to be there.
Very good, very good. I must commend you on that. I think you did a wonderful thing, and I think you're absolutely brave. Excellent. Would you do it again?
Yes, I would. I have been protesting after that protest,
Wow.
but I would do it again.
Very good, very good. What did you most enjoy about writing your book?
Um, just being able to put what I felt into words or yeah, basically.
Good. Very good, very good. Can your words make a difference?
Yes, I do feel that words can make a difference.
Very good. And also, how can you be contacted if someone wants you to visit their school? Did they have a
Well, I do
did they have a manager? Go ahead.
my
Sorry.
mom is my manager, but I do have a website and it's www.ourfirstprotest.com.
Okay. And do you want to say that one more time?
www.ourfirstprotest.com.
Very, very good. Very good. And where can your book be purchased?
My book can be purchased online for Barnes& Nobles, but also in stores for Barnes& Nobles,
Ah.
online on Amazon, Walmart, I'm pretty sure,
Hmm.
and my website.
Okay. And one more question. Is there a second book coming? And a third? Think about it. Think about it. I think you do have a knack for writing. I think this was an excellent book, and I do look forward to seeing more books from you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So right now, if you don't mind, do you mind if we have one person or so ask you a question?
No,
Okay. We're going to open the floor for someone who's brave enough to ask London a question.
We have a couple of questions in chat.
Okay.
Comment. Chenay says, "Love your book, London. Thank you for sharing your story. Where was the protest you attended?"
the protest I attended was in downtown Waterbury.
And who illustrated the book?
Subi Boza. He's out of Africa. I don't really know much about him.
Wow.
He handled that.
Mary Beth says, "Great story, London."
Thank you.
And are there more, Becky, or should we move on?
That is all for the moment.
Okay, so once again, we want to give her some emoji claps if you like. Where's the reaction there? Where's the clap? Let me put a clap there for her. Excellent, excellent. Put a thumbs up. Very good. Wonderful, wonderful. So next up, we have no other than I think he's a sort of a celebrity now. I was on YouTube, and there was someone who was actually reviewing your book, Chase, and she gave the 2 thumbs up, and she actually recommended that whoever is in her state purchase your book. So you're truly a celebrity. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you Chase Taylor. Chase Taylor has a series of books, and he has a brand new book that is not yet published, I believe, that he's going to actually read to us, and he's going to answer a few questions.
That's
Let's
right.
go. Okay, so without further ado, let me present to you Chase Taylor.
Hello. Okay, here's the book. Okay, so far I've written 3 books, and I'm going to read the third soon, which is published by a company called Mascot Books, and I'm currently 21 years old. Okay, and here's the book. You can see it, right? Okay. Today is the Letter Critters Talent Show. All of the critters in Letter Critter Town are excited to perform today. Letter Critter H goes up on stage to host the show. He announces which letter critters are going to share their talents. Letter Critter N is the only one who does not participate in the town show because he is very negative. No need to worry, he will change his mind. The Vowelettes start the show with their latest song, A-E-I-O-U. Letter Critter B blows beautiful bubbles of all her favorite shapes. Letter Critter D does a drama where he is a doctor knight trying to rescue a damsel deer in distress. Letter Critter F flies up on stage dressed like a fairy. She plays a fabulous tune on a fancy flute. Sorry. Sorry about that. Somebody's just oh, here we go. Just need to okay. Letter Critter G plays groovy tunes on his guitar. Letter Critter H walks on hot coals all the way off the stage. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt. Letter Critter J performs her jumping jacks joyfully in a jumpsuit. Letter Critter K kicks her kickball while Letter Critter C catches and throws it back to her. Letter Critter L limbos under a log pole. How low can he go? Letter Critter M makes his most favorite meals to share with his friends after the show. Letter Critter N now decides to join the show. He nibbles all his nourishing noodles in under 9 seconds. Letter Critter P paints pretty pictures. His personal favorite painting is a slice of pizza. Letter Critter Q conducts a quartet of quacking ducks and quails. Letter Critter R shows off her most radical racetrack she made for her racing cars. It goes round and round. Letter Critter S, the snake charmer, serenades snakes with a saxophone solo. Letter Critter T does his most tremendous tap dance. Letter Critter V does ventriloquism with his vulture dummy named Val. Letter Critter W wows the crowd with her wonderful wig wardrobe. Letter Critter X plays the xylophone while doing a handstand. She also takes x-rays of boxes to show what's inside them. Letter Critter Y does yoga while playing with a yellow yo-yo tied to her toe. Last but not least, Letter Critter Z zips and zooms really fast across the stage until he gets tired. He'll get some Z's later. Okay, now Letter Critter H returns to the stage to announce the winner of the talent show. Letter Critter D does a drum roll. The winner of today's talent show is all of the letter critters for making this such a fun day. All the letter critters from A to Z showed they enjoyed the talent show with cheers and claps. Letter Critter H was congratulated for hosting the best talent show in the Letter Critter town. And that's it.
Wow, that was excellent. I mean, I have been reading children's books for quite a while. This is very good. This is up there. So,
Thank you.
yeah, this is more than a pastime. This is actually very good. It's a very good alphabet book. It is wonderful. This will aid in a young child's literacy. So yes, I must commend you. It is fabulous. It's a very, very good job. And in fact, for you in London, I do have a story time that I call Read With Me, Mr. C on YouTube. And I would like permission to read both of your books one day.
Sure, that would be cool.
Thanks. Oh, great. So very, very good. I'm going to jump into some questions because I see the time is going so fast. So, are you ready for some questions, Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Very good. How do you come up with the concepts of your wonderful books?
Well, I get the inspiration from different cartoons I found in my childhood and some books I've read and just cartoon designs.
Very good. Very good. Why did you choose to be the author and illustrator?
Well, because I don't think I could get anyone else to like do the writing for me. So I just thought of my own ideas myself.
And they are both good. The writing is on point. The illustration is also on point. Very, very good. Mm-hmm. How many books are there in the series? And how many do you plan to have in the series?
Well, so far there's 3 books, and I plan to have like one book for each individual character. If I could.
Yes. And as I said earlier, I saw on YouTube a reviewer who highly recommended your book. So your book is not just in the state of Connecticut, but it is going national. So very, very good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. And how do you feel to have such accolades?
Well, it feels pretty nice actually, and motivating.
Very good, very good. What is your favorite aspect about being an author?
Well, I guess thinking of stuff that comes to my mind and put it down on paper.
And what's the worst? Is there a flip side or?
Well, just editing and revising, and check my grammar. Or sometimes get writer's block.
Very good. Have you been recognized anywhere since you have become the great author?
Yeah, on social media like Facebook and Twitter.
And quick question, which I also should have asked London too. Have you Googled yourself?
Yes, I have.
Ego, no, very good, very good. Do you have a favorite book that you have written so far?
Oh, I did like the biographies book I made, and the talent show one too.
What is your website or social media handle that someone can contact you?
Well, there's the lettercritters.com, and there's lettercritters at twitter.com.
And also, where is your book being sold?
Amazon and my website and Barnes & Nobles.
By the way, for the audience, we do want you to buy their books, but we can also lend you the book in the meantime while you wait for your personal copy. But I would recommend that you buy all these local authors' books. So we want to celebrate them by also purchasing from them. Okay, so the best way to celebrate is to contribute a little to what they are doing for us. Okay, so you can borrow the books from the library. We have all these books. Every one of the authors, we do have their books here, but I do implore that you go out and buy your personal copy and get them to sign it one day, because who knows, the sky is the limit. So I'm gonna pass it over to Becky so she can read the comments or she can find out what questions people have. So Becky, take it away. Thank you.
Okay, let's see. I have Chenay said, my son loved the critters. And Mary Beth said, I totally see little critter figurines and dolls on store shelves one day. So fun. Great
yeah.
books, great job, great illustrations. Loved how you reinforced letter sounds for beginning readers. Good job. Love the book. My 5-year-old wants an encore.
Uh, very good, very good. Once again, if you want to give him a little clap here or a little emoji with the thumbs up. Very, very good, Chase. Good job. Thank you. Oh, wow, look at that. And there goes your answer to the figurine question. He does have stuffed toys. So quick question, Chase. Can those be purchased?
Well, I just ordered them, and they're just from BuzzFeed's website. So I just order one each.
My advice to you is to find a way to monetize these characters.
I'm working on
Okay.
it.
Yes.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Very good. Oh yeah, and
Yeah,
and the
I'm trying.
T-shirt too. Huh? Sorry. Okay.
I'm trying to.
Oh, okay. Very good. Very good. So yes. So very good. Thank you. Thank you, Chase. We're gonna move on with the program here. Coming up next, a lady who has known a little controversy here in Waterbury. Miss Chenay with a wonderful book. Okay, so her book is obviously too long for us to read now. She could do just a quick summary to just let the audience know what her book is about. And then when she's done with her quick summary, I'm gonna personally ask her some questions. And I'm gonna open the floor to her. She is very, very good. She is such an orator, and she can take it from here. Without further ado, here is Miss Chenay Morales-James, author, educator, homeschool president, and many, many more. So she can elaborate more. So go ahead, Miss Chenay. Let's give her a round of applause. Very
Thank you,
good. You're welcome.
Faisal.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So yes, I am co-author of the ABCs of the Black Panther Party. So what does that mean? It means that I wrote this with someone else, and that someone else is Kalila Brand. So I have a picture of her right here. So that is, and actually this book, if it wasn't for Kalila, I'm not sure if this book would have been created. So the ABCs of the Black Panther Party is a children's story. We use each letter of the alphabet, similar to what Chase was doing in his book. But instead of letter sounds, we actually talk, for each letter, we bring up a different topic or historical fact related to the Black Panthers. And the purpose that, Kalila and I did that because we were struggling to find, honestly, a children's book that spoke about the Panthers without making them, be perceived as villains to young people. Oftentimes, when we hear the stories of revolutionaries, particularly Black revolutionaries, oftentimes those stories that are told in the larger media tend to be negative, and they leave out really the true history and the true reason why many of our revolutionary heroes were protesting on the streets and were demanding for civil rights. And so Kalila has passed. She passed away a couple of years ago. It was a sudden death. It was not expected, which is why it's really important for me when I talk about this book that I don't forget who my co-author is, but most importantly, that people know who she was, who her spirit is, and she is the reason for this book. So a little story. Do you want me to tell the story what happened, like what led to the book? Yeah. So Kalila and I are both educators, and we used to work together back in New York City. And we were hired to work in a lot of school districts that were experiencing a lot of racialized outcomes, negative racialized outcomes for their Black and largely Latinx community. And so we would have to actually facilitate really hard conversations around race and racism and how it shows up in classrooms. And so one day, Kalila called me up on the phone. And usually when she calls me up when she's been to a school, it's usually to kind of like vent, because a lot of our work is a lot of emotional labor. You know, it's not easy facilitating difficult conversations around race, and then especially if you're a woman of color, people literally are, you know, they will interpret your presentation based on the color of your skin. So I thought she was calling me to kind of like release and vent about this session, but she called me for a different reason. She's like, I just left a high school in Brooklyn, and Kalila's originally from the Bronx. And she's like, I just left this high school in Brooklyn, and you'll never believe I was talking to some of the high school kids. And, you know, we were talking, I mentioned something about the Black Panthers, and they looked at me like, the Black Panthers? What do you mean the Black Panthers? And as she's telling the story about the Black Panther Party, they didn't know who they were. And so she says, oh my God, Chenay, she's like, how is it that our kids don't know who the Black Panther Party was? Like, how could they not know that story? And she said, look, I worked with high school kids. You have more experience working with the younger kids. I think if we put our skills together, we can write a book that speaks to children, to young people about this story. And so she said, would you want to do this? And I was like, sure. I never wrote a book before. And she had written a book before, but it was an adult book. So it was both of our first time jumping into children's stories, into children's literature. And so that's what we did. And it took us a while to finish the book because we had so many projects. But yeah, that's why we wrote the story. We wanted to make sure that our young kids would never forget the legacy of the Panthers, and also how it's connected to the Black Lives Matter movement today, because a lot of people don't know. When I share the story, I oftentimes ask kids, do you know about BLM? And most kids will say, yeah, I know about Black Lives Matter. I'm like, do you know why they started? They know why Black Lives Matter started. And then when I ask them, do you know why the Black Panther Party movement started? And most kids will say no. And I said, well, if you know the reason for the Black Lives Matter movement, then you know the reason for the Black Panther Party movement. It's for exactly the same reasons when we talk about police brutality in Black and brown communities, and really making, demanding changes in our policies and our laws around that. So yeah, that's why we wrote the story. And there is a parent-teacher guide that goes along with it. It's digital. So for families who purchase the book, there's an insert. We only have a few books left. So we just had a large order recently. So we're down to a few. And we self-published. And Chase, you self-published too, right? Yeah. London, did you self-publish as well? I don't know if you went with a publisher or not.
No, I was self-published.
Self-published. So yeah. So you all know there's a lot of work with self-publishing. You got to market, you got to do all the things. So, with Kalila's passing, it's been really difficult to manage the publishing end. So I may just end up, I'm in the midst right now of shipping the book to different publishing companies to see if they'll publish the book again under their name, just because I honestly can't handle all the work that comes with publishing. So, so I admire you, London and Chase, for managing all that, because it is a lot of work.
Wow, very, very good. We do want to thank her. She did an excellent job summarizing that wonderful and that important book. So, Chenay, do you feel like you were a little bit before your time, or because your book is what's actually needed right now? So the more things change, the more things remain the same. So your book is actually more relevant now than when you first wrote your own book. So
well, and I would say that it isn't. It's just that I think more people are awake to it now than they were when the book came out. But it was just as relevant then as it was when the Panthers were alive and strong and well.
Yes. And I'm not sure if you are aware that there's a new movie coming out that is based on the Black Panthers. So
Yes.
Yeah. So you
I just saw it.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes, so I think you're gonna have to really get this book back out on
No.
shelves because the timing is right, and the timing is right now for people to realize that they weren't villains. You know, they actually started, I think, the welfare system, and there's a whole bunch of stuff in your book that
Yep,
that you had taught me,
yes.
and that I have read. That yeah, it's too bad that the people saw them as villains, but there are actually people who are out there to help people and to protect their neighborhoods. I'm going to go into some questions if you don't mind. First question is, how did you come up with the idea of your book? Which you know what, you did speak about that, if I'm not correct, right? Yes. So yeah, where were you concerned about the subject matter?
No, I think my parent, not I think my parents were, you know, they were alive during that era. My mom is actually the illustrator. So, which is I think why she got the fashion pretty on point. People, you know, people from that era say, man, whoever illustrated this book really understood the colors and the fashion at that time. Like, yeah, it was my mom. She lived during that time. They were more nervous for us than I think Khalil and I were, just around, people making threats around shutting down the book or threats to our bodies, honestly.
Wow. Yes, because I also have a personal should I say lashback from having her here as a special guest.
She did.
I did receive phone calls. Even the director received phone calls. Complaints went all the way to the mayor. So I do believe when you said that you may have had threats, because yes, I did get phone calls here, and she did such a wonderful program here. And if she's brave enough, I would like to invite her back one day to do another program. Okay.
If you are brave enough to have me back, I'd be happy to come back anytime you all want me to come and read.
Okay, great. Very good. Great. How do you believe your book can influence someone else who wants to make a change?
Yeah, I mean, when you have a message that you know is the truth, for me, this is about truth telling. And when I say truth telling, it's telling the story from those who have been oppressed, right? Oftentimes, the stories of oppressed people are told by those who committed the oppression, which is why we get a really misguided and really an untruthful version of the story. Because when you are the person committing the oppression, you don't want yourself to be perceived as the oppressor. So you are going to minimize how you actually hurt people and communities of people, which is why when we hear the stories of the Panthers, the larger narrative it's not from those who were living, who were leading the movement. It's usually the people who were trying to stop the movement because, people felt threatened by them. One of the things that, and I know people will ask me, like, the Panthers, were trying to protect their communities. I mean, honestly, for the most simplest explanation of the purpose of the Black Panther Party, they organized to protect Black communities from the violence that they were experiencing at the hands of police officers. Now, am I speaking of all police officers? No, but I'm speaking of the police officers who were not living their lives the way they were supposed to be living them, or not living the life of a police officer in the way they were supposed to be honoring that job. And so people became threatened because, some of them carried guns, and they carried guns not because they were like, we're going to go around and shoot people, but they could carry guns because their community members are being killed, and so they felt that they had to protect their community by any means necessary. And people, I think that's really important, people that understand, that context to the Panthers that is almost always left out from the story. So truth telling is important for me, Clive.
Yes. Very good. Very good. Well said as usual. So in the interest of time, I'm going to skip some of the questions. You already told us who the illustrator was, which is very good. That was one of my questions. You already kind of told us that someone at a very young age could actually learn about these civil rights. So yeah, because this is actually geared towards what's the youngest age?
It's for young kids, so anywhere
Right.
between the ages like 7 and up. I mean, adults love it because a lot
Right.
of adults weren't told the
Mhm.
truth or the history. So it's written in a language to support parents and adults to have these conversations. That's why we also created the parent teacher activity guide, so that there were some activities that parents, educators, other adults can use to help navigate some of the difficult conversations that come up and some of the difficult questions that kids are going to ask.
Okay, very, very good. Okay, I'll ask you two final questions. How can you be contacted if someone wants you to do one of your wonderful orations?
Oh my God, Clive, I'm going to have you market for me.
No, you're good. Your name is called around every social event and meetings around here.
Hopefully it's good.
Good. Very, very
Okay.
good. Very, very good. Yes.
Yeah,
So
so if
you
people
can-
want to
yeah.
contact me, yes, you can reach me through myreflectionmatters.org. That's my main website. Or you can just email me directly. That's chmay@myreflectionmatters.org. Thank you, Becky.
Yes. One last question. Where can the book be purchased?
So it's on myreflectionmatters.org. I think right now I may have actually shut down the purchases just because we're so low. But if you email me, we have a few left. So if you email me directly, I may be able to mail out a couple, or you guys, if you're local, could just drop it off somewhere.
Great. Thank you very much. Please put up your emojis for her. A clap, a thumbs up. Let her know how great she was. Becky, do we have time for one or two questions for her?
Sure, we've got
Oh,
15 minutes.
Okay. And then we'll have last but not least. So yes, so you can take it away, Becky.
Okay, let's see. I have to scroll back here. Someone said Ingram Spark is a good company. I think that's for publishing. Love the book. You can also self-publish on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Check out Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. There's a web link for that, scbwi.org. Can't wait to get the book. The story of the Black Panther is continuously misconstrued. Happy to see the truth for young readers.
Yeah, I mean, I'd encourage folks to also, so the Black Panther Party, there's a chapter here in Waterbury, and also New Haven, Hartford and Bridgeport, I believe, also had chapters. So I always encourage kids to go do some research and find out if there were chapters in your community, who were the members, and what are the current members, or what are those members up to today? What are some of the initiatives and programs that when they were part of the Panthers that they helped to organize in their communities, because they really did a lot of amazing community work, from creating free school lunch program, breakfast program, to the free ambulance program, to WIC, which currently exists, was influenced by many of the social service programs that the Black Panthers had created. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of our social service programs that we have today were influenced by the Panthers. So I'd highly suggest that families do some research on their local areas, the local chapter areas.
Very, very good. Thank you. And is that it, Becky, for the questions, which are all very good? Okay.
There was one earlier one. The Black Panther history is so important. Helen made that comment, and Mary Beth said absolutely.
Okay.
And I think that's
Okay, great. Okay, so we are going to move on to a local Waterbury educator. He is a friend to the library, especially this summer. If you go on YouTube, Facebook, you'll see his face every week. He basically took my job, but he was our summer storyteller. He did a great job. He has written a book for, I'd say, the preteen, but he can elaborate on it. So I'm going to open the door now for Mr. Shelby Davis, one of our local educators, and a lot of kids around here know him. Mr. Davis, can you talk about your books and your 6 steps?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. You actually joined me at a good time. I have a new puppy, so I have him locked away in the room. He's dying for attention right now. So if you hear him in the background, you can just ignore him. But thank you for having me. I wrote a book called Everything My Parents Taught Me in 6 Steps. It is a self-help inspirational book for anyone, high school, middle school, older adults, anyone who needs a little bit of inspiration and motivation to get them through their days. I use some of the insights and values and stuff that my parents taught me, and I compiled them into 6 easy steps. It's a short read, it's an easy read, and you can just take it with you on the train. You could have it in your book bag. I include a lot of quotes, a lot of metaphors, I include examples. So yeah, that's pretty much the concept of the book.
Yes, very, very good. Yes, very good. And I'm also a lover of quotes. I can't remember them to save my life, but I'll go back and I'll read them. But yes. So I do enjoy quotes and metaphors. Wonderful, wonderful. And I'm also a self-help junkie, so I also enjoyed your book. We're going to jump into some questions here for you, and hopefully the audience will have some questions for you. The first question is, how did you come up with the idea for your book?
Currently, I've been in Waterbury Public Schools for 7 years, and I wanted to have a text that the students can carry with them if they need a little bit of inspiration, because we all need a little pick-me-up, we all need a little motivation. And I was attending a conference in Florida for counselors, and I came up with the idea to create this book to continue to help people. Even when I can't be next to them, they can pick up the book and read it.
Very good, very good. What sort of values did your parents instill in you? Because I know you mentioned your parents in your book.
Yeah, some of the things that I include in my book and the values are to stay motivated, to be kind, to help others, to just keep striving for the top, be educated, and just keep on going, never give up.
Okay, and there are 6 steps. So what is the most important step?
I think stay motivated, because sometimes we lose our motivation, we lose our hope, and we just have to stay with it, and there's no single road to success. It's going to take twists and turns, and you just got to stay on that road and keep on going.
Okay, so I think that that answer also goes to all you authors. So if you ever have writer's block, keep on going, keep on writing. We do expect more from you. Sorry to demand more from you, but when talent is given, you should use it to the fullest extent. So I do hope that you all will write more books. Mr. Davis, do you believe your book can influence someone else to try to make a change?
I think so. That's why I created it, because I wanted to make a change. I wanted to help others. I wanted to inspire others. And while I was writing the book, I did give the book to friends. I gave it to some of my students of all ages, just to get their feedback on what they thought and what they got from it. So yeah, I like to think so.
Very good. And how has your life changed since you are now Mr. Davis, the author?
I mean, after the book came out, before the pandemic, I was going everywhere and anywhere to talk. The Boys and Girls Clubs, I was at libraries, I was at book talks with book groups, and just trying to spread the word to keep people motivated, to keep them going, to help them.
Once again, your book is also timely, because people do need motivation in what's going on in the world today. So yes, it's very, very inspirational. Are there other books to come?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
yes, there's a delay there.
Oh, sorry.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm actually working on a children's book, which is going to be out this summer, introducing a new character. His name is Wyatt Brown. He is a mixed race young man. He is in elementary school, and we talk about different adventures that he's going to go through. It's going to be a multi-series book. And yep, his first adventure is coming out this summer, and we'll see what Wyatt is facing up against.
Oh, great. Funny that you mentioned that. My daughter is now in college to become a teacher, and she was on Zoom with one of the students, and they had asked him to draw them themselves. He drew his face and he put a line through. One was tan and one was light.
Mhm.
So she asked him, why? He said, well, my dad is black and my mom is white. So he made himself, half black, half white. So once again, that should be a very interesting book, because we do have many kids who fall in that category. So
Absolutely.
yes,
Absolutely.
so very good.
Actually, on March 2nd, on my Facebook page, I'm going to be doing a live cover reveal, and I'm actually going to be starting to give out some of the drafts of the book to individuals who tune in for my live cover reveal on my Facebook page.
Yeah, so if you want to keep us posted so that we can tag you. Okay. Yes. Do you still believe that life's lessons are taught in kindergarten and not in graduate school?
I think we learn a lot of lessons in kindergarten, but we continue to learn each and every day, and we have to accept that these lessons are coming to us every day. We have to take those lessons and see what we get from them.
Do you consider yourself a role model? Because I hear a lot of kids say, oh yeah, I know him.
I like to think so. I strive to be a good role model. I strive to be a positive influence in individuals' lives.
Very good. And what did you most enjoy about writing this influential book? Yes.
Knowing that some of these stories and quotes and lessons in this book is going to help someone get through their day or achieve their goal that they're working on.
Which kind of answers my next question was, can your words make a difference? But I think you just answered it.
I hope so. I really hope so.
And two last questions. How can you be contacted?
ShelbyCDavis.com or my Facebook page, which is the Shelby C. Davis author.
How or where can someone purchase this book and the book to come?
Yep, both books will be available at Barnes & Nobles and Amazon.
And were they self-published?
Yes, they were.
Okay, very good. Very good. Wow. Perfect timing. Oh, before we go, I'm going to hand it back over to Becky for questions and answers. So go ahead, Becky. Thank you.
Okay. Could you give us the title again of your book, Shelby?
Yep, it's Everything My Parents Taught Me in 6 Steps.
Thank you. And let's scroll back here a bit. Can you share at least one of your other tips other than stay motivated?
To live your best life safely, of course. I think it's important that you do the things you love. I talk about in the book some hobbies and interests and taking up a new activity and really getting in touch with your extracurricular activities.
Great. Mary Beth says, it's so inspiring to know so many local folks are authors and putting out some amazing content. Thanks to all the authors being there and sharing their works with us. And Everything My Parents Taught Me in 6 Steps is the name. And people kind of chatting back and forth here a little. I think that's it.
Well, I want to thank you all. This was a tremendous program. I would say it's even better than I had imagined. Hopefully we can do this again. It was wonderful. I'm now inspired, so hopefully others are. You're all doing such a wonderful and terrific job. We do hope that more people know of you, because you're all doing such a great job. Great program. Thank you. I saw that. Wonderful program. Hopefully, with you all doing new books, we can do this next year also. Maybe we can make this an annual event. So for London and for Chase and for Chenay and for Shelby, we're going to be looking out for new books. Thank you all, and I hope you guys have a great evening. Thank you.
Clivel, I forgot to mention, there is another
Yes.
book that I published with Waterbury Bridge to Success. I don't know if you all
That's
have
right.
a copy of it.
Please send me the info. If we don't, we
We
should
can make
have
sure
it.
there's one for the library. So
Yes.
it's a guide for parents, and it's called Let's Talk About Race, a guide for raising children with positive racial and ethnic identities. So
Yes.
it's a free book for the community. You can
Oh,
get it
oh,
on
free.
Waterbury.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
well, it's a free digital book. They have a certain number of hard copies, but
Yes.
you can get the digital through waterburybts.org. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Thanks. And I will try to see if I can contact BTS and get the actual hard copy too. Okay, great. Thank you all. Are there any final comments that anyone wants to say, or?
Thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for answering the invite. Some people, it took them months to finally answer, but but it's okay. They're here, and we did have a great time. Thank you all, and enjoy the rest of the night. See you all next year. Okay.
Bye. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you, Becky. All right.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.